Hi, I'm Kristen Palmieri, bereavement counselor at Hospice of Orange and Sullivan counties. I have a presentation, Coping Through the Holidays, that I would like to share with you. And the holidays are a really hard time for many people that have lost a loved one. How do I feel? Well, during the holidays, sometimes we're torn between celebrating with friends and family and grieving and missing our loved one. We can have happy celebrations and then a few minutes later be crying and depressed that our loved one is not with us at the celebration. Having this roller coaster of emotions is completely normal when you're grieving. Society has expectations on how we grieve. Back in the 17 and 1800s, widows would wear black and accept no social invitations for a year. Now we really don't do that, but grieving is very personal, and our family has expectations about what it is that we should do after someone passes away. So these expectations affect us. Common grief responses are often physical and emotional. So you can have aches and pains, tightness in the chest, headaches, forgetfulness, change in appetite, a lot of crying. And you can also have sadness, anxiety, anger. Sometimes you may have feelings of guilt that you didn't do enough. And you may have the inability to experience joy. These are all common grief responses. Strategies for coping with grief. Well, we're going to discuss basic self-care, self-compassion, traditions, making a plan, and identifying your support systems. So what is basic self-care? Well, the first thing is getting an adequate night's sleep. It's recommended that for adults, we get at least 8 hours of sleep, and for children, that can be even more. We want to eat a properly balanced diet. During the holidays, there's a lot of sugary foods and high-fat foods available, but these comfort foods often do not make us feel very good. We want to exercise or perform physical activity daily. A brisk walk for about 20 minutes is great exercise, or even a yoga class. Something to do that's going to release our endorphins, which is our body's natural painkillers, and adrenaline. This is going to give us a natural emotional boost throughout the day. We want to listen to our body and to our heart. Often we are caretakers for those around us, and we really don't take good care of ourselves. This is a time to realize if you have aches and pains, or if you need to go to the doctor. This is the time to take care of yourself. You want to take time to do things for yourself. It could be reading a good book, watching a funny movie, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. What makes you happy? It's time to go there. What makes you laugh? It's time to dig up that funny video or find that funny sitcom. You also want to avoid excessive use of drugs or alcohol. Alcohol is very tempting, especially at parties, but alcohol is a depressant. It's in the depressant class of drugs. So it's actually going to depress our mood and make us feel worse than we already feel. Try a new self-care technique. How about mindfulness meditation or progressive muscle relaxation, deep breathing, joining a bereavement support group, or even individual bereavement counseling? I'm going to go through each of these. Mindfulness meditation is easy to do almost anywhere. All you have to do is find a comfortable position, sitting down or lying down, and you want to take deep breaths. You want to focus on your breathing, how it feels in your nose, in the back of your throat, and in your diaphragm. You want to inhale and exhale and focus solely on your breath. This sounds easy, but your mind is going to try to distract you with thoughts, feelings, and maybe that grocery shopping list. What you want to do is refocus your attention back to your breath. Don't be upset if your mind occasionally drifts. This is a skill that needs to be developed. Just return back to your breathing. Just start out small with about 5 minutes and then Over time, work your way up to 10 minutes. You can find more information on mindfulness meditation at thegarrisoninstitute.org. If you have a smartphone, you can look up an app called Headspace or Calm, and these are great apps to help you in your meditation. Progressive muscle relaxation is a great exercise to do if you have trouble sleeping or relaxing. So what you want to do is sit in a comfortable position or lie down, and you want to take deep breaths and try to feel as relaxed as you can. Then you want to systematically tense and release each part of your body, beginning with your toes. Curl them up tightly while counting to 10, and then relax them. Note the difference between the tense and relaxed state. So what you want to do is tense your toes and then relax, and notice how those muscles feel. The contrast between the tension and the state of relaxation. You want to work your way up all the different muscle groups to your face, your jaw, your forehead. So you're really going from your toes all the way to your top of your head. And you want to practice this twice per day for 15 minutes. Dr. Weil has a great breathing technique, the 4-7-8 breathing technique. This is a go-to technique for me if I wake up during the middle of the night and can't fall back asleep, or if I just go to lie down and I can't fall asleep. This is a very relaxing technique, and I almost think of it as being magical for myself, so I hope that you try it out and see how it works for you.
And this is something you really want to do every day religiously. The results come not instantly, they come from doing this regularly over time. And it's you're putting this, the theory is that by imposing certain rhythms on the breath with your voluntary system, gradually these are induced in the involuntary nervous system. And that comes with time. So it's the regularity of doing it that counts. It's not the intensity with which you do it or the amount of time you do it on any one day. It's the regularity of doing this over a period of weeks, months, years that produces the changes that you want. In yoga breathing, you're asked if you can do this in any position. You can do it lying down, you can do it seated, you can do it standing. If you are seated, it's good to keep your feet flat on the floor and have your back straight. And in yoga breathing, you're asked to keep your tongue in the yogic position, which is touching the tip of the tongue to the ridge of tissue just above your upper front teeth, so like that. And they say that completes an energy circuit and keeps the energy of the breath within. I have no idea what that means in terms of Western physiology, but they're the ones that invented this, so we should do it the way they said. By the way, it's interesting that if you look around the world at places where emphasis is placed on breathing, whether it's in athletics, natural childbirth, martial arts, systems of meditation, and try to figure out where this knowledge came from, all trails point to ancient India. You know, this is an experiential science that developed thousands of years ago in India and has diffused all over the world. So just an interesting phenomenon. And in India, very little of this has been written down. It's mostly passed on as an oral tradition. And it's astonishing to me how little research has been done on this. A little in India, almost none outside of India. I constantly tell people interested in medical research this would be such a rich area to investigate. And I think it's so easy to document the physiological changes that happen. All right, so in this exercise, you're going to inhale through your nose quietly and exhale through your mouth, making a noise like you're going to be exhaling around your tongue, which may feel awkward at first. It's easier if you purse your lips outward. So you're blowing air out around your tongue, and if you press your tongue up, don't worry about that, you'll figure it out. Okay, so this exercise begins, you let all the air out through your mouth, close your mouth, inhale quietly through your nose to a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and then exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. And you're going to repeat this for 4 breath cycles, and that's it. The speed with which you do it is not important. What's important is keeping that ratio of 4 in, hold 7, out 8. So exhalation is longest. And when we do it together, I'll count at a rate that I think will be comfortable for all of you. So just watch me do it first, and then we'll do it together, and I'll count for you. It looks like this. Stand up. That's all. It's hard for me to come back and talk after I do that because this produces a very pleasant altered state of consciousness that I would rather stay in. That may not happen the first time you do it, but with practice it will, and that's one of the rewards of doing this. Okay, so let's try this together. All right, so begin by letting all the air out through your mouth. Close your mouth in through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Close in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Close in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now just breathe normally. Don't try to influence your breath. Just observe, watch it, and notice any changes that you feel. Some of you may feel a little lightheaded doing this for the first time. That will tend to pass with practice. You may notice a feeling of relaxation. I promise you that will become very intense over time as you practice this. You must do this twice a day. That's the minimum practice, is 4 breath cycles twice a day. You can do it more often, but never more than 4 breaths at one time. And you must do it at least twice a day. I do it in the morning when I wake up before I do some sitting meditation. I do it in the evening when I get in bed to fall asleep. It will help you fall asleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night for any reason and do this, it's a great way to help yourself fall back to sleep. After 1 month, if you're comfortable with it, increase to 8 breath cycles each time. And then that's the maximum, never more than that. And then the minimum practice is 8 breath cycles twice a day. The real benefits of this, you'll notice after about 8 weeks of doing it. You've got to do it religiously. It takes all of about 1.5 minutes a day, so there's no excuse for not doing this. I promise you the results that you will observe will be wonderful. If you put a blood pressure cuff on somebody when they're doing this, during the phase when you hold your breath, blood pressure drops significantly, heart rate drops significantly. They typically come right back as soon as you stop. But if you do this regularly, over time, that's the trend. Then you can start playing with this as a tool to use in different situations. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, somebody says something to you that pushes your button, you train yourself to do this before you react. This is a great way to deal with cravings for anything, cigarettes, chocolate. You train yourself before you act on the craving, do the breathing exercise. By the time you're done, the craving has passed. There are all sorts of applications for this. As I said, it's the single best method I've found for dealing with getting back to sleep if you wake up in the middle of the night. It is the most powerful anti-anxiety measure that I've found. You cannot, if you look at people who are having anxiety, even the most severe forms of panic attack, the thing that's most striking is that breathing becomes disordered. It becomes rapid, shallow, irregular. You cannot be anxious and breathe deep, slow, quietly, and regularly. They don't go together. And this is a very powerful tool for dealing with anxiety. I have taught this to people in intractable panic disorder. And after time, in one case, the man with the worst panic disorder I'd ever seen, who was dependent on Valium and, impossible case. It took about 2 years of doing the breathing exercise regularly, and he got control of it and got off all medication. So it's a very powerful technique. Any questions about this?
So I hope you try Dr. Weil's technique. The other thing that you can do for self-care is join a bereavement support group. We have bereavement support groups available on Zoom and also on conference call. For a listing of our bereavement support groups that are open to the community, visit hospiceoforange.com. Another great thing to do for self-care is to find individual bereavement counseling. If you're part of the hospice family, we offer individual bereavement counseling, and our phone numbers are listed at hospiceoforange.com. If you're not part of the hospice family, you can call your health insurance company to get a listing of counselors in the area, or your EAP. Self-compassion is having compassion, starts and ends with having compassion for all those unwanted parts of ourselves. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen, room for grief, for relief, for misery, for joy. So we are very kind to our friends and family, but we're not very kind to ourselves. Many of us have negative self-talk in our heads. We beat ourselves up. We're not good to ourselves. It's important to realize that no one's perfect, and we need to love ourselves no matter what, even during tough times. Traditions. Many of us honor old traditions. We're creatures of habit, so we'd like to do the same thing year after year. This can be difficult without your loved one. Perhaps this year it's time to create new traditions. Maybe some of those new traditions could be memorializing your loved one. For instance, you could light candles in the person's memory. You can put a wreath out on the table and invite friends and family to stick letters in the wreath, or favorite photos, or happy times. The other thing you can do is leave a place setting for that missing loved one at the dinner table, and then talk about happy memories with that person. There are many ways to memorialize your loved one. There's even free online virtual memorials, which I will share at the end of this presentation. You may even want to take a break from the holidays this year, and that's okay. That's your choice. Whatever you decide, you should make a plan ahead of time. Think about, how much celebration can I really handle? What do I need to do this year for me? Do I want to incorporate my loved one into my special day? How do I want to include my friends and family in this? Do I want to do holiday cards this year, or a tree? Whatever it is you decide to do, if you do accept party invitations, it's best to have an escape plan ahead of time. So talk to your host and hostess before the celebration and let them know that you're having a hard time and that you're grieving the loss of your loved one. Having this communication before the event will make it a lot easier if you have to leave immediately following dinner, or even before dinner, if you're having a hard time or if you're feeling overwhelmed. So having that communication with the host and hostess and letting them offer you support is a great way to be able to escape early if it becomes too much. The thing to remember is you're not alone, and a lot of people are missing their loved ones during the holiday. It's important to reach out to others and not to isolate, so that you can feel that support and know that you're not alone. Some good resources that you can find online are griefshare.org. This lists support bereavement groups by zip code. A lot of them are at local churches. We also have Garnet Health Medical Center Bereavement Support Group in Orange County. We have the Bereaved Parents Support Group through Orange County government. And the website, which is great to use with teenagers or children that are computer savvy, are virtual-memorials.com. This offers a place for you to do a free online memorial for your loved one. I wanted to take the time to read a special poem. It's called The Psalm for the Dying by Edward Hayes. Relatives and friends, I'm about to leave. My last breath does not say goodbye, for my love for you is truly timeless. Beyond the touch of bony death, I leave myself not to the undertaker for decoration in this house of the dead, but to you, your memory with love. I leave my thoughts, my laughter, my dreams, to you whom I have treasured beyond gold and precious gems. I give you what no thief can steal, the memories of our times together, the tender love-filled moments, the successes we have shared, the hard times that brought us closer together, and the roads we have walked side by side. I also leave you a solemn promise that after I am home in the bosom of God, I will still be present whenever and wherever you call on me. My energy will drawn to you by the magnet of our love. Whenever you are in need, call me. I will come to you with my arms full of wisdom and light to open up your blocked paths, to untangle your knots, and to be your avenue to God. And all I take with me as I leave is your love and the millions of memories of what we have shared. So I truly enter my new life as a millionaire. Fear not, nor grieve my departure, you whom I have loved so much, for my roots and yours are forever intertwined. This is a great poem to read during the holidays because it helps us to remember that we have all these cherished memories of our loved ones and that our loved one's spirit is always with us. Thank you for listening to my presentation. From us at Hospice, we wish you a happy holidays.